Dear Honorable Servant of the People, from grannies, grandpas, and citizens for saving democracy. Please do not perpetuate the unlawful acts and injustices being continuously perpetrated on our lawful, congressionally approved, and well-established federal programs designed to serve and protect American citizens. Preservation of our democratic values and lawfully established institutions are imperative if the great experiment is to be saved. It is with great urgency that if our democracy is to survive such assaults and actions of the Trump administration endangers life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that representatives such as yourself must hold those perpetrators accountable within the lawful processes of the courts in order to maintain justice and constitutional integrity. For only then can we as a nation maintain the rule of laws, preserve our democratic ideals, and maintain freedom necessary to fight tyranny. Presently, following mob rule of January 6, 2020, falsehoods, lies, and deliberate efforts to erase the threat of that day have now brought the administration to purposefully set out to dismantle and destabilize our republic. Please take a moment to review history and your own sworn oath to serve the Constitution of the United States of America. Numerous government officials have sworn an oath to the Constitution in order to protect democracy and did so with the idea of representing the people who elected them. But two presidents in particular proclaimed the need for actions which were necessary to employ in order to protect equal justice under the laws and the democratic ideal. For the people, by the people, and of the people. They noted that democracy is fragile and required all to support and protect the law so as to, in turn, protect the democratic rule of governing. On January 27, 1838, in Springfield, Illinois, President Abraham Lincoln gave the Lyceum speech, which was a rebuke to the dangers of mob violence and the unlawful actions of a few while defending the rule of laws. In his speech, Lincoln proposed these questions. At what point shall we expect the approach of danger? By what means shall we fortify against it? Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined, with all the treasures of the earth, our own excepted, in the military chest, with Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in trial of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reaches us, it must spring up from amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of freemen, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Here, then, is one point at which danger may be expected. The question recurs, how shall we fortify against it? The answer is simple. Let every American, every lover of liberty, every well-wisher of his posterity, swear by the blood of the Revolution and never violate the least particular, the laws of the country, and never to tolerate their violation by others. As the patriots of '76 died to the support of the Declaration of Independence, so to the support of the Constitution and laws, let every American pledge his life, his property, and his sacred honor. Let every man remember that to violate the laws is to trample on the blood of his father, and to tear the character of his own, and his children's liberty. Let reverence for the laws be breathed by every American mother to the lisping babe that prattles on her lap. Let it be taught in schools, in seminaries, and in colleges. Let it be written in primers, spelling books, and in almanacs. Let it be preached from the pulpit, proclaimed in legislative halls, and enforced in courts of justice. And in short, let it become the political religion of the nation. And let the old, the young, the rich, and the poor, the grave and the gay of all sexes and tongues, and colors and conditions, sacrifice unceasingly upon its altars. As Abraham Lincoln warns, if tyranny is to occur, it will come from within. This would occur by citizens and representatives of the government renouncing our commitment in upholding the law. This allowance of defying the law would also throw to the wind the blood of our ancestors who gave their lives for liberty and the democratic way of freedom in order to allow tyranny to occur. Presently, the executive orders coming from the Oval Office and unelected multi-billionaires under the guise of downsizing the function and cost of government, while in truth, they are dismantling constitutionally approved American institutions, limiting freedom, decimating long-time services, and risking health and security for all Americans. On April 27, 1979, President Jimmy Carter spoke before the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Attorney General, and other leaders. He stated, "The highest goal that a government or societal structure can hope to achieve is justice. It's end in itself. It means to an end, and it's a pursuit that is never completely realized. There are always challenges to it brought about by the fallibilities of human beings, the intense pressures of competition in a free society, the constraint of liberty where freedom does not exist. It's a responsibility on us as it is on the leaders of every nation on earth. The deprivation of justice is a serious matter. Those of us who don't suffer much from it can observe it, if we are sensitive. Quite often we benefit from an injustice because those with power, wealth, or social prominence are very likely to profit when an advantage is meted out to our peers who, in gaining some advantage for themselves, cause those same benefits to accrue to us. And if we stand silent and reap the benefits of injustice, then we ourselves are equally culpable with those who initiated the injustice. The lesson for us is that justice can be perpetuated in a society only with complicity, acquiescence of others who benefit or avoid responsibility while denying knowledge." Lastly, President Carter refers to Jesus in telling the story of the Good Samaritan, and President Carter asks the question, "As Christians, do we have a responsibility for those in our communities or in other nations who are suffering from whether deprivation or persecution?" He concludes by saying, according to Jesus, we are, as a Christian nation, it is our duty. President Carter finalizes his speech with these words, "If I am my brother's keeper, it's not enough for me to learn about or even pray about his troubles. I'm called to act on his behalf, even when that requires fighting injustice and tyranny. You, as an honorable government representative, have a duty to intervene and secure the faithful adherence to the law. By stepping up to stop the ravishing overreach by the executive branch, you can hold fast to the rule of law and ensure justice endures and the Constitution is adhered to for all the citizenry of the United States. Also preserving that the United States maintains to be a beacon of freedom in the world. You are our last hope for current and future generations to embrace the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We look to you to be the stronghold of democracy and the democratic rule of law. Sincerely, Grannies, Grandpas, and Citizens for Saving Democracy."